If you're hunting for a chef's knife that slices like a hot knife through butter, but costs less than a dinner out, you might have landed on the Mercer Genesis 8-inch chef's knife. But here's what surprised me. This widely praised Amazon favorite with a 4.8-star rating isn't all it's chopped up to be. While it boasts high-carbon German steel and promises professional-level sharpness, there's more beneath the surface of this $40 kitchen tool that could change how you slice and dice forever. Stick around because in the next few minutes, I'll reveal the hidden truths about this knife, who it's truly made for, and why it might just not be the best buy despite its glowing reviews. Prepare yourself. This review isn't your typical praise fest. You might want to rethink before clicking buy. First off, let's talk craftsmanship because a chef's knife is your #1 kitchen sidekick, not some random drawer junk. Mercer Genesis knives claim to be precision-forged using high-carbon German steel, which sounds fancy. And to be fair, it gives that initial pop of durability and sharpness. The taper-ground edge is sharpened for slicing efficiency, making chopping onions, mincing shallots, or crushing garlic feel almost effortless. Sounds like the dream, right? But here's the twist. This very steel is also prone to corrosion if you dare toss it in the dishwasher or leave it wet. Mercer explicitly warns hand wash only, so if you're one of those loaded and forget dishwashers, tough luck. Now think about yourself, the passionate home cook, or even the professional hustler trying to juggle meal prep and cleanup. Will the need to baby the knife interfere with your workflow? That's where frustration might wedge in like an uninvited guest. The ergonomic Santoprene handle, as Mercer says, gives a non-slip grip even with wet hands, which is a relief because there's nothing scarier than a flyaway blade mid-chop. This rubber-like handle does provide comfort and security, but it's not as classy as a wooden handle or some high-end composites you get with more expensive brands. Imagine holding this knife for a long session of chopping herbs and wondering if you're really wielding the finest handle in forged cutlery, or just something that feels like a glorified kitchen tool from the dollar store. And then comes the balance and weight question. This knife is built solid, featuring full tang construction and a substantial bolster that gives it good heft. When you pick it up, it feels sturdy, not the feather-light gimmick knives that bend at the slightest pressure. That's excellent for precision work and chopping through big cuts of meat or dense vegetables. But here's a shocker. For some users, the Genesis 8-inch knife leans too heavily to the blade, causing a slight wrist fatigue after extended use. The cool fact is this varies person to person, but it's worth noting if you're a home chef who spends a ton of time preparing meals or a pro who needs efficiency without compromise. Now, before you think this knife is a lost cause, here's a kicker. Mercer, a brand trusted by most cooking academies, delivers this Genesis series as an entry-level professional tool. It's perfect for aspiring culinary students or home cooks who want to experiment beyond basic kitchen knives. The Genesis series has a 1-year warranty too, which hints that Mercer stands behind its construction. So if you treat it right, this knife can last and perform well in general use. Just don't expect miraculous sharpness or zero-maintenance magic. With all that said, let's pause and ask the big question. Who exactly should buy the Mercer Genesis 8-inch chef's knife? If you're a beginner home cook looking for a great starter knife that won't break your bank but still pretty much gets the job done, this might be your ally. For people who want decent sharpness, durability, and comfortable grip at an affordable price point, it fits like a glove. However, if you dream of a knife that glides like a sushi chef's blade, requires zero maintenance, and looks like it belongs in a gourmet kitchen showcase, then this isn't your dream date. It's the dinner party guest who shows up dressed a bit too casually. I also want to share a little story here about my first run with the Mercer Genesis. I was excited, unboxing it with those fireworks of hope expectations. First chop was crisp, onions, herbs, you name it, I minced. But then a week in, the edge dulled quicker than I'd hoped, forcing a midway resharpening session. It's like buying a sports car, then realizing you have to change the tires after just 200 miles. Not ideal, right? And that ergonomic handle, which promises a non-slip grip, felt more like a slip-and slide when my hands were super wet, almost comedic if it weren't a safety risk. This knife demands respect and care. It's not the slap it in the sink and forget kind. Here's a joke for you. Why did the tomato turn red? Because it saw the knife cutting onion, just like how the Mercer Genesis makes quick work of produce despite its quirks. Speaking of humor, I joke that if your cooking style is to chop then run, this knife will keep up just fine. But if you savor every slice and dice like an artist, you might find it asking for more pampering than you bargained for. Now, on the maintenance front, Mercer emphasizes hand washing only with mild soap, drying immediately. Sounds easy until you factor in everyday kitchen chaos where rushing sometimes means forgetting. Repeated dishwasher misuse might ruin the German steel's no-stain promise, causing rust spots or corrosion. That's a tough downside if you live for convenience. Trust me, I once accidentally threw a knife in the dishwasher and the battle scars never faded. So if you're the kind of chef who demands low-fuss gear, this might demand more attention than others in your drawer. Another joke alert. What do you call a knife that isn't sharp? Pointless. Luckily, the Mercer Genesis comes sharp out of the box, but doesn't hold the edge forever. For you, that means occasional sharpening is part of the journey if you want it to remain your trusted kitchen partner. The hand-polished taper edge boosts cutting efficiency initially, though it's a steady trade-off between cost and performance compared to premium Japanese steel blades. Moving forward, what about the design and build origin? Mercer Genesis is made in Taiwan using European components and technology, a blend of cultures that result in a fairly reliable, mid-tier kitchen tool. The full tang and bolster provide a traditionally solid feel, but the handle's synthetic santoprene material may not age gracefully with scratches or discoloration. It's not exactly the most stylish knife that might impress friends at your dinner party but gets the job done. Remember, a chef's knife is a workhorse, so performance trumps looks mostly. So what's the bottom line here? Despite calling out some of its limitations and quirks, the Mercer Genesis 8-inch chef's knife is a solid performer in its price range. It's perfect for those starting to build their kitchen arsenal who want professional-level quality without the professional-level price tag. It's reliable for chopping, slicing, and mincing vegetables, herbs, and meats with decent sharpness and comfort. Just keep in mind the care instructions: no dishwasher, hand wash and dry immediately to maintain its edge and finish. One last joke to seal the deal. Why don't chefs ever get into fights? Because they know how to keep their knives sharp but their tempers sharper. And keeping your knife sharp, folks, is half the secret to happy cooking. Mercer Genesis gives you that edge, but don't expect it to do the job all by itself. A little TLC goes a long way. If you want a reliable, affordable chef's knife that works well for most kitchen tasks and fits comfortably in your hand, the Mercer Genesis 8-inch chef's knife is worth considering. It might not be flawless, but no knife ever is. For the best price and detailed customer reviews, check out the link in the description below. Trust me, whether you're mincing garlic or chopping a big Christmas turkey, having a decent knife makes all the difference, and this one earns its place. So in summary, it's well made, sharp out of the box, and ergonomic yet requires some upkeep and attention. If you're okay with those trade-offs, the Mercer Genesis could be your go-to culinary tool. Otherwise, be prepared to consider other options if you want something more low-maintenance or premium-looking. But hey, for $40, it's still a steal. Want to grab yours and start cooking like a pro? The link's waiting makes slicing smooth again, one cut at a time.